that sound you can hear is torrential rain and 60-mile-an-hour winds. I've got a plan today and I'm going to bloody stick to it. I've got a plan to drive to Dartmoor, and it's probably a stupid idea, but I really want to see what the medieval village looks like up there, and I want to experience what it's like in bad weather, because that's how our ancestors lived, and I just want to see what it's like. Okay, I'm going to get soaked, so what's not going to kill me, is it? I hope not, anyway. Pretty grim. Okay, I'm wondering if this is a good idea. There's just been a massive flash of lightning and a crack of thunder. I'm not sure how smart a plan this is. That was right overhead. Obviously I'm going to be the highest point on the moor. Reality check. It's pretty windy and wild. I'm not sure this is a good idea. I'm up for it though, I'm up for the adventure. I'm going to do it. I know you'll think I'm stupid. You only live once. I want to go and see a deserted medieval village which is still very much apparent in the landscape. It's called Hound Tor, and it was mentioned in the Domesday Book of 1086. Just going through a flood. Its name then was Hound Tor. That means the tor that looks like a dog. It's only a short walk, should only take me about 15 minutes. I am expecting to get fully soaked because it's pouring with rain. There were people living there from the 11th century through to about the 14th century when it became deserted. Here we are then on the moor. Bleak, grey, wet. Well, so far I haven't seen a single other person stupid enough or mad enough to come up here in this wild weather. I put my boots on, I'm here, and there's a brief window in the weather. It's actually kind of even, I might say, sunny. So I'm going to quickly race over there, have a look, and then race back. I'm feeling a bit apprehensive because I'm on my own, and well, lightning for one thing, being on my own on the moor another thing. But you know, if you don't go on these adventures, you never know, will you? My friend was supposed to come, but he said it was too dangerous. And he's probably bloody right. Okay, we're off. So the whole moor is currently flooded. There's water everywhere. Got to get over this bit first. Just gonna have to leap. All the land here has got water lying all over it. So up there is Hound Tor. Should have dog-like rocks. I think it does, kind of. I'm going to walk to the right of it. It said there was a track that was very clear and easy to follow. However, I don't see it. I hope this is not mistake number one. here I am at the first of the longhouses. Wow, it's still here. Look at the view from this amazing, amazing place. It's actually quite a large village or hamlet. Wow. Let's go inside. Here's another one. And there are a number of these. I think there are 4 or 5 of these larger ones. And then a number of smaller outbuildings, which would have been used to store things and for animals. Let's go inside. Here we are entering the door. The walls are around about 1 metre high. They're made of blocks of granite. So here at the lower end, animals would have been kept. So you've been living cheek by jowl with your animals. Would have been quite strong smelling, I'm thinking. I'd say about 2.5 metres wide, certainly wide enough to sleep. And then probably, well, let's measure it. About 10 metres long. Amazing. I've managed to find the original reference in the Doomsday Book for this little village or hamlet, written in 1086. And at that time, this hamlet owned 7 cattle, 28 sheep, and I think 18 goats. So it's like a sort of small holding. And it had 1 lord's ploughland and 1 men's ploughland. I guess that means they were working for the Lord and they were giving some of their produce to the Lord. It's a really nice spot. I have to say it's much more sheltered here than it is on the other side, so they picked a good place for it. I mean, it's not surprising that we didn't spot this village more easily because, of course, today these little houses haven't got their straw roofs. We're not seeing smoke. There wouldn't have been chimneys on these houses. The smoke would have just found its way out through the straw. So it would have looked almost like the whole house was smoking. And there would have been animals here, children and people working in the fields. And there would have been crops all around us here. But of course today, you can't really economically grow crops up here. The climate just isn't right for it. So really what we're looking at here is the lower part of these medieval buildings that still survive. They would have had an upper part, they would have had a roof, and I guess timbers supporting that would have meant you could stand inside them. Isn't it beautiful? The winter bracken, blue sky, is just stunning. I think we've been very lucky with the weather, oh my goodness. Let's go and have a look at some of these smaller buildings to see if I can find any evidence of a fireplace. These little houses didn't have chimneys, and so the experience of being inside one would have been very, very smoky. And there were also no windows, so it would also have been very dark inside these little buildings. Let's see if we can find one with a fireplace that's visible. So I've built a fire in the fire pit. So this house has a fireplace in the middle, a long house, and then at the top there's a kind of annex. Here it is. I wonder if that might have been a kind of sleeping chamber up here. Look how it's dripping with water today. If that doesn't say Dartmoor, I don't know what does. Oh, there's some weather coming. And in the shadow of this enormous cloud that's approaching behind me, I just wanted to show you a couple of artefacts that I found. This is a medieval candle holder, and it would have been used to light this type of building. It's made of bronze, and it has a little hole in it which is called an ejector, which is where the candle would have been pushed out once it had burned right down. it might have been used somewhere just like this. In fact, I found this piece on Dartmoor. Not here, but somewhere not that far away, right on the edge of the permitted area where you're allowed to detect. I also have with me, and I'm going to show you very quickly before these storm clouds come right over the top of my head, some of these, which us detectorists call ring things. They're actually really nicely made objects, and sometimes you can see file marks on them where the maker has actually filed it into shape. These would have been used to hang water vessels over the fire. They would have been used to connect your ropes for horse harnesses and all manner of other jobs, and that's why on the Portable Antiquities Scheme website they ask us to just call them rings, because we can't really say what they were used for, although sometimes you can see slight wear where perhaps a leather strap has passed through these objects. Lastly, I want to show you a couple of coins of the period. These are a Henry VI half groat and a John cut half. Amazing to think that people that lived in this house would have been very familiar with these coins. I believe when they did the excavation up here, only one coin was found, and it was a Henry III coin. Henry III would have been somewhere in between these two monarchs. Henry VI came to the throne at 9 months old, so this coin depicts him as a boy. Okay, I think this is the des res of the complex. It's got an upper floor with steps, which I believe must have been the bedroom, because obviously you would put your sleeping platform higher so that any water would sort of seep down. Then below you've got a very large, probably about 12-metre long section, and at the very bottom of it you can see there's a kind of slurry drain here. You can see actually the planting changes here, where the water obviously channels down here and out of this hole at the bottom, and that must have been for animal slurry. So animals would have been housed here at the bottom end, and at the top your sleeping quarters. You can imagine how very worrying it must have been when crops started to fail, when the climate here changed in the 1300s, and year on year the crops weren't working out, animals started to get sick. They had to make a decision to leave this place, their home, and go somewhere else to live and raise their animals and grow their crops more successfully. Anyone that did stay will have been affected by the Black Death, which arrived in England in the middle of the 1300s and actually wiped out about half of the European populations. This place is full of stories. Men, women and children trying to do their best for their families, just like we do. Probably going hungry a lot of the time, cold. And I would imagine these dwellings, which have no windows and no chimneys, would have been smoky, dark. Probably a lot of coughing going on around here. They would also have been pretty pungent with the smell of animal dung. But I think they'd have been warm, and that, after all, is what home is about, isn't it? Shelter, warmth, familiarity, your family, your friends nearby. And that's what this was for people 1,000 years ago. I hope you've enjoyed your tour to the deserted medieval village. I've really enjoyed it. I think it would be quite fun to stay up here one night, but I'm not really a good camper. I'll leave that for someone else. If you would like to visit this place, you need to look for Hound Tor on a map of Dartmoor, and then find the deserted medieval village. It's actually strictly forbidden to metal detect on the moor itself, but right on the edge of it I've got a great permission. Love you to go to my playlist and have a look at some of those. I'll put one in the link just after this vid. The weather's turned now and I probably need to set off. When you come somewhere like this, it really does sort of make you realise how lucky you are. I've got hot satsuma with cloves in it, and and ginger. It's really lovely. Okay, I can feel the first few raindrops. Let's get going. Let's not wait. Need to get a bit of a shimmy on here. Suddenly got very dark. As long as I can see that tor, then I know where to go. So imagine you were living in 1300s or 1200s England, and you've been out farming the fields near here, and this weather starts up, and you're wearing a felted wool tunic, leather boots, and you're soaked in minutes. Then imagine you get home and you've only got the warmth of a small fire to dry your stuff by. Okay, I'm going to turn this off now. Oh my god! I'm just stopping in the lee of the wind behind this rock. I walked about half a mile in sideways hail. I'm knackered, I'm soaked. I'm not far from the car now, but it's wild up here. That makes it worth it, doesn't it? What a thing to see. Wow. Beautiful. Till the next time, everyone, from Dartmoor, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you all soon. Don't forget to subscribe.